Hey everyone, Ian King here with the weekly Winning Investor update. And today's talk is going to be about one of the most ambitious projects, not only in crypto, but also in all of technology. I'm excited to get into it because, I get this question all the time that people ask crypto, what's it good for? Where is there real world adoption? Today's topic is where that is happening, and I'm going to explain more in just a moment. But before we get into it, please go ahead and give us a like if you like our content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you have any comments, any questions, any cryptocurrencies or stocks that you want me to evaluate, any further update, go ahead and leave it in the comments as well. So today, let's talk about a new cryptocurrency that came out just a couple years ago that has really made a huge splash in the telecom world. And before I discuss this company, I want people to really understand what is the value of crypto, meaning what's it good for? What can you use it for? So at its very essence, the core of the technology is a way for two actors with no economic history to send something of digital value across space and time. And cryptocurrency essentially originated with Bitcoin, which is a way to transfer something of digital value from one person to another without the need for a middleman. And then 2015, Ethereum came along, and we took this idea of being able to send value as easy as sending an email and added a scripting language on top of it, which meant that you can now program money for specific use cases. And so one of the areas where I see cryptocurrency is going to be so valuable is in provisioning scarce digital resources. And what I mean by that is imagine a world where your information and data doesn't have to go to a centralized cloud. It can be on a decentralized cloud, which meaning anyone that can build a cloud infrastructure can participate in a cloud network. Or, the use case for Ethereum is basically a decentralized computational power. You use a little bit of Ethereum to run the Ethereum virtual machine to create calculations or to make the network work. The cryptocurrency I want to talk about today is called Helium. It is the token that powers the People's Network. And essentially, what it is a decentralized telecom network that provides right now a low frequency signal, which allows connected devices to get network or get on the network in order to share their data. Now, the current network in its state is not something you can download a Netflix movie on the go, but there are lots of sensors, in agriculture and also in cities that need basically just a little bit of frequency to send signals back to a larger centralized area, which is collecting them. So one use case would be if you've got a farm and you want to check the soil in different areas, and let's say you've got miles of farmland, you can put these little sensors in the soil that have to have some type of network connection to tell you whether or not that soil needs irrigation or not. And so the Helium network would be something that can actually connect all these devices to a centralized location where the farmer can make better decisions. So let me just share my screen right now because I want to talk more about what Helium is. The biggest news that's come recently is that they've partnered with Dish to deploy a 5G network, which means that there are all these instances in the 5G markets where you might have an easy time setting 5G up in cities, but there's a problem setting 5G up in the so-called last mile, which means that you need to have lots of 5G cellular towers that are close to each other in order to put the network everywhere. And what it's going to enable is basically that users can buy a Helium device, set up a 5G network. Time I alerted my crypto subscribers to this, there was only about 2,000. So this is a network that's grown about 500x since we first started looking at it a couple of years ago. And what's even more amazing about this is that it's not just located in the US. All these little green points on the map, if you zero in on them, are hotspots all around the world. And you can see this for yourself on explorer.helium/IoT. it's not just US and Europe, it's also all throughout Asia. So even these South Asian countries like Thailand and throughout China and Japan, the helium network exists in these places and it continues to grow. Now, the big news over the last week in helium is that it used to run on its own blockchain, but they're now going to move the token over to Solana. And the reason why this is important is because it's going to allow the tokens, which can be used to purchase network credits, right? You can buy network coverage with the helium tokens. And then you also get compensated in helium tokens for mining and sharing this network. But once it's on the Solana network, it's going to open up these tokens into all of Solana's DeFi protocols, because you now will be able to borrow, if you want to borrow more of helium tokens or their related mobile tokens, which is coming soon. The mobile token is actually the 5G token. Right now, there's only 3,300 5G radios set up around the globe. Most of them are probably based in the US right now. So this would be the opportunity I would look at right now. The mobile tokens, which you can get by buying a 5G device and setting it up. You can see there's pretty decent coverage in the New York area right now for Helium 5G. You get paid in the mobile rewards, which doesn't trade just yet, but will at some point. But it's going to be a huge boost to these tokens that you can actually trade them on the Solana network, because they'll be a lot more liquid, and there will be, the ability to lend out your tokens to other people using Solana's DeFi protocol. So that is a big development for Helium, in the sense that they're migrating all these tokens off of the Helium blockchain into the Solana protocol. So that is it for the update this week on the Helium network. Love to hear if you've ever mined any Helium tokens, or if you have any devices or plan to mine 5G. Please leave some comments below. I'm Ian King. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.